Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. On today's episode, I'm going to be showing you the process of how to register a tech company in Nigeria. What are the types of tech companies, what a tech company is, the documents required, and the step-by-step process of registering a tech company. So if you haven't heard of Flutterwave is a Nigerian fintech that was founded in 2016 by the company began by providing a payment platform for businesses in Nigeria, but quickly expanded to other countries in Africa. Flutterwave's platform allows businesses to accept customer payments through multiple channels, including credit and debit cards, mobile money, and even bank transfers. Over the years, Flutterwaves has grown rapidly and has become one of Africa's leading fintech companies. It has processed over 10 billion in dollars in transactions and has partnership with major companies like Visa, MasterCard, and even First Bank of Nigeria. In addition, the company has expanded to other African countries and has offices in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and even Kenya. Now, today, Flutterwave is considered one of the most successful fintech companies in Africa. The company has experienced rapid growth since its founding in 2016 and has become one of the most leading fintech companies in Africa. What is a tech company? A tech company is a business that creates or sells or uses technology to provide products or services. These companies range from creating software and apps to designing hardware like computers or smartphones. Basically, they are companies that work with technology to solve a problem or make things easier for people. Examples of a tech company is Apple they create smartphones, iPads, and computers. Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. Some of the Nigerian tech companies are Flutterwave, InterSwitch, Paystack, Piggyvest, Opay, Money, Kuda, InterSwitch, Cowrywise. All these are fintech company, mobile banking companies. Then there's also Jumia, where people are able to buy food. There's Gigi, where you can sell your second-hand items using technology. There's also Dado Foods, where you can order food online and then you can have them delivered to your doorstep. So that's kind of like a way of using technology to provide a need or to satisfy a need. For a tech company to fully operate in Nigeria, it must be registered at the Corporate Affairs Commission. That is the government body that is solely responsible for registration and regulating companies in Nigeria. So the first thing the company needs to do is to submit at least two names for availability check, or what we call reservation of names. So if you want to register a tech company, I would suggest that you register it as a limited liability company and not a business name. So for a limited liability company, the company is required to submit two names for reservation. So there are certain requirements that CAC also looks into before they even accept the names to be registered, before they check for the availability. And there are some things that they look into. One of those things is they will check if the name you submitted is ambiguous, if it is unclear, if the name is intends to confuse the public about the kind of nature or business, if the name is awkward, assuming it's Johnson Limited or Johnson Motors Health Limited, anything that has to do with health, anything that has like the object in the name, they want to be sure that it is what you say you want to do in the company that you actually want to do. Another thing that they also look into is to see if the name is closely similar. So what they will do is when you submit the name for reservation, they will check if it is similar to another name in their portal or another name in their register. Another thing that they look at is if the company has something like a Chamber of Commerce or Department of Agriculture, or certain words that are prohibited or require the consent of the Attorney General or the Registrar General. They will not accept, they will deny those names. So after submitting the names for availability and it meets their requirements, they will approve either of the names. So I always suggest that you put your most favorite name as number one. If number one is not available, they will definitely take number two. After your preferred name has been approved, the next step is to fill the CAC 1.1, which is the registration of company form. Now, in that form, what is included, the first thing included is the address of the registered office of the company. So the address has to be where the tech company intends to start or do business. Now, I always say this, sometimes some people will say, I don't even have an office address, but do you have a house address? You can also use your house address as a registered business, as an address, as a registered address of the business. And then secondly, you also look at the authorized share capital of the company. Now, it depends on the type of company. If it is a tech company, the minimum share capital is 1 million naira. That's if it's not a fintech company. If it's just a tech company that seeks to use technology to, do a business or something. So it can be 1 million share capital. So you fill the form and put your 1 million share capital. Another thing it looks at is particulars of directors and shareholders. That's I see people, they'll say, okay, I want my daughter, I want my son to be a director. Children or minors cannot be directors. They can be shareholders, but they cannot be directors. And in order for them to be shareholders, they need to be accompanied by two adults. Okay, so if you are the parent or if you are an adult, it has to be two adults accompanied by the children. They can be shareholders, but they cannot be directors. Now, the information for directors and shareholders includes the names, their name, their occupation, their house address, their date of birth, their phone number, email address as well, and ID card. And that ID card cannot just be a company ID card, it has to be a Nigerian valid ID card, either your NIN, international passport, or driver's license, or permanent voter's card. It has to be either of them. And then it also has to include the signatures of those directors. It is very important. Other information in the CAC 1.1 registration of companies is the statutory declaration of compliance with the requirements of CAMA by a legal practitioner. So this particular section has to be signed by a legal practitioner. Another one is the particulars of secretary. So initially, CAC didn't care if companies had a secretary or not, but now I think for over 5 years or 6 years now, it has now become compulsory that every company, especially if it's a tech company, must have a company secretary. So all the information that is required to be provided for the directors must also be provided for the secretary. Secretary can also be a chartered secretary. It can be any of the directors or any of the shareholders, or it can be a legal practitioner or an accountant. Whoever you decide, you have to provide information for secretary. The documents required for the second stage of registration of a tech company is the objects of the company. What is the object? In this case, we are using a tech company. What is that problem that the tech company seeks to solve? Is it a food tech company? Is it a financial tech company? You need to put that in the object. I would also suggest that you make sure that you put at least borrowing powers in your object. It is very important. A lot of people like to put like the general clause. If you put the general clause, you would have to register with SCOMO. So you need to be careful when you are filling that form. Another important document is signed and stamped copies of the memorandum and articles of association of the company, as well as a photocopy of the data page of ID card of each of the directors, shareholders, and even the secretary. So you need a copy of their data page. Now here's another information. If the company or if the tech company is needing foreign participation, if they have foreign partners that they want to include in the tech company, they want to form like a big tech company and they need foreign participation. Recently, the CAC has said that any company that seeks or that wants to partner or that wants to involve foreign participation has to register the company with a share capital of not less than 100 million. So the share capital of the company has to be 100 million for a fintech. That's if you want foreign participation. if the shareholders are foreigners, there are other registrations that are required by law to be carried out by the tech companies. They include registration with the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. That's the body that is responsible for any type of investment in Nigeria. Another one is they have to have business permits, and the company also has to have expatriate quota because foreigners are coming to work and earn profit. Another body that regulates foreign participation is National Office of Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP registration. So the tech company has to do an NIPC registration, they have to do expatriate quota registration, they also have to do NOTAP registration, they have to obtain license from the Central Bank of Nigeria as well. So assuming the tech company wants to register the company as a financial tech company, fintech companies, anything that has to do with finance, transfers, anything that has to do with money like that, it is Central Bank of Nigeria that regulates that aspect of business. They also advise the government on anything that has to do with money and all that. So they regulate it. So if it is a fintech company, you know that you have to do certain registration with the Central Bank of Nigeria. And then you also have to do some registrations with the Nigerian Communication Commission, that's NCC. They are responsible for anything that has to do with communication in Nigeria. Another aspect that you need to take note of is if the tech company wants to do or engage in money lending business. The way tech has made everything easier. You can almost likely do everything online. So if the company wants to engage in a money lending business, they have to register with the state government of that particular state where they want to do the business. So, a money lending license is not just something that they give lightly. So, the tech company will have, or the fintech company would have to get license, a money lending license if they want to do a licensing business. Now, once you have filled your form and then you have all the requirements for the registration, if it is foreign participation, you have gotten all the consent and all the licenses that are required, you can now submit your application to the Corporate Affairs Commission, and then you will get the approval. Now, the CAC for a long time now has stopped issuing hard copies of certificates. What they issue now is soft copies. So you can register your business anywhere you are in Nigeria and get your certificate anywhere in Nigeria. You don't need anybody to waybill it for you. But if not, you can always get a legal practitioner to register it for you. You can get a chartered secretary, or you can even get a chartered accountant. Those are the people that are responsible for registering businesses in Nigeria if you're unable to do it by yourself. Congratulations! If you have done all these steps that we have talked about, you have finally registered your tech company in Nigeria, and then you can start doing business. I did a video on what you need to do after you register your company in Nigeria. I'm going to leave the link in the description box so that you can watch it. If you found this video helpful, you want to hit the subscribe button, put on your notification bell so each time I post a video, you get notified. You can share this video, you can give me a thumbs up. If you want me to talk about anything in regards to law, you can put it in the comment section. I'll see it and then I will do a video on it.